welcome to another day of my equestrian life. And again, I'm riding Sebastian, and I have not ridden him in probably a few days now. And it's mostly been, I normally work my horses every day, at least 6 days a week. But I haven't been able to because the horse flies have been horrible, and the Florida heat has also been horrible. So it's been too hot in the afternoons to work my horses, and then the flies are too bad in the late evenings and early mornings to be able to work them either. But today I was actually able to go out there and work them and not be eaten alive by flies, nor neither me or my horses die from heat stroke. So I was really glad that I was, it was finally a fairly nice day to ride. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do today. I can only about do circles when I ride him, because if I go into the woods outside, it would be asking to be sucked alive by all the flies in the forest. So I try to stay in like this open area because they don't like the direct sunlight, so we don't get eaten alive. So I sort of was trying to get him focused a bit more on my seat and my shifting of weight, more or less than me having to always be correcting him with his reins. Now, he has really improved greatly since I bought him on leg pressure. I can get him to turn very nicely on leg pressure. But if I just turn with my body and my head, he doesn't always turn with me. Now, for a few times, he did follow me very nicely while turning. But I sort of want him to be able to listen to all of them and not just my leg pressure. It's great that he listens to my leg pressure. It's wonderful he's super sensitive with it. But I don't only want him thinking about the leg pressure. I also want him feeling where I'm leaning and where I'm going. So you can see I'm doing some turning exercises, trying to get him to sit back on his butt and to turn on his shoulders. We did also a bit of yielding. But I'm trying to just get him used to and trying to understand that leg pressure is not the only thing I'm asking when I'm turning. I can also shift my weight, and he can also shift his weight with my weight. So that's going to make it easier in the future when we're doing more precise movements where, leg pressure is not everything. So slowly moving on to that and doing a bit more trotting work. And today he felt really good. I wouldn't say he was I felt very connected to him today. I was feeling very good about his walk, trot, and canter. It felt very nice. He was listening a lot to my seat and my head and my weight today. I tried to make him do a few flying lead changes, but I wasn't able to in the end. We did some canter work today too. I sort of tried, but I wasn't full of energy either, because I've been kind of tired today, and he's kind of also been tired from all the flies and the Florida heat. But we did kind of like a recap, a review, sort of sharpening him on the basics of turning, walking, stopping, backing up, and all that, which I like to do fairly often because it makes good horses. You can see right now I'm doing a lot of turning exercises, which is kind of, getting him used to my leaning, and I'm giving him leg. I'm looking where I'm going. And right here was very smooth because I wasn't actually even using my rein, and he was turning just from my body and leg, which was very nice. And then more canter transitions because it's good for him. And sort of trying to get him to really listen to every little cue I'm giving him, and just getting him sensitive to those cues. So you can see that I'm sort of keeping it to a basic circle right now, switching sides, doing a bit of slow trotting here. And most of the time when I slow trot is because I'm preparing him to do something, and I'm waiting for him to listen and for him to be paying attention to me. Here I'm doing a bit of backing up. No, I was trying to get him, I wasn't backing up. He's backing up. I'm giving him leg. You can see I move my leg all the way back. And I'm trying to get him to focus on only turning his butt. And then I switched from that, and I asked him to keep his butt still and to turn his front hind around his butt, like he did right there. I'm trying to keep his hind still and move his front around his hind. So we're doing some keeping the front still, moving the hind, and keeping the hind still and moving the front. Now, he wasn't the best at it. As you can see, he's not keeping very still on either of them. I have to do a bit more groundwork on that, but I'm just trying to get him, used to the cues. He gets better and better each time I ask, and, each time he understands a bit more. So a little bit of that, and it also gets him used to me shifting my weight. I also sometimes get a little confused with what leg I'm asking him to turn with. But another walk, trot, canter transition, because if I do just walk to canter transition, he gets a little jumpy, and he really likes doing them, so it gets a bit annoying because he'll randomly trot on me. Here I took him in for a really sharp turn, sort of trying to get him used to doing sharp turns, and he went on the right lead there. For a second I thought he didn't. And there I wanted to ask for a flying lead change. And he did what he normally does, and he breaks into the trot, which I'm necessarily not going to disencourage either. I'm not really necessarily asking him and pushing him for the flying lead change. I'm sort of just giving him a sharp turn. If he does the flying lead change, I'll get off him. But I'm sort of getting him used to just doing sharp turns, because if I'm mid-running, say through a forest, and I need to turn around or turn around a tree, I need him to be ready to be able to make a sharp turn. I don't care how he does it, just as long as I don't go flying off him and he doesn't end up falling. Now, if he, like I said, he does give me a flying lead change, I'll hop right off, because it's literally the most I could ask from him. But as you can see, he wasn't really into giving me flying lead changes today, which is a bit sad, but I wasn't going to complain either, because we were both really tired today. But he did seem quite eager to work nonetheless today, so I was happy to see that. And today was a really nice day because I really could lay off my reins. I wasn't barely using them this entire time, unless I was asking for that really sharp turn out of nowhere. But that was quite a big difference of today, is that he was working really well without me having to use my reins at all, which is a very good goal to have. My goal is to be able to ride without my reins. If I can just drop them and ride like that, that's the end goal. But yeah, he wasn't doing too bad. The flies weren't bothering him too bad. There was quite a bit of head nodding here and there. I had to let him one time get the fly off because he really wanted it off his face. But that's just, the cons of working outside in the elements. The flies are going to eat you alive. But that fly was really bothering him. But yeah, he was a good boy. He was a good boy. He was quite smooth. Another trot to canter transition, getting him really used to those because he wasn't the best at them. Making sure he picks up the right leads. Now you can see here, I took him out, and instead of taking him in the circle, I took him down the road. This is just something I threw in because it's good to mix things up, and I was also kind of done with riding. So we cantered all the way up, took a sharp turn, and cantered all the way back. And then I cantered him really fast back home, and I grabbed onto his mane so I don't go flying off, and I asked for a stop. And then I'll back him up. It wasn't a very sudden stop, but it feels very sudden when you're on him because you're going from a walk to a pause in less than a second. But he was a really good boy, and that was it for today.